All right, guys. Here we are, 2 o'clock. Give me a little bit. Give me about a minute and a half. See how many people get on. I know Lori's at work, but Denise isn't, so we'll see. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am in pain today. I think it has everything to do with this storm that's been going through. Now, whenever the barometric pressure goes down, boy, it does some stuff to my joints. But the reason why I chose this subject is part of it has to do with what's going on in this country, but part of it has to do with today is, let's just say it's a special day for me. And depending on how you look at it, it could be negative or positive. So that's kind of my thought process. But that was fun last night. I don't think we're going to get one like that today because I think a couple people probably are at work. But that was fun. That really was. I hope that that you guys are having a wonderful day today. So, but we will get started here in a minute. Let's see here. What time is it? Well, okay, we're about 1 minute in. All right. Let's see here. So, okay, we'll get started here. Hi, my name is Daryl Phillips, owner of N.A.G.214 Gaming, and what we do here is listen to you talk. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day today. I am not in the greatest shape today. Like I said, sometimes I have to gut through things, and which goes into what I want to start with. It's been 22 years since my mother died. All right, and I've been asked questions from people before about why did I do this? Why would I sit here in front of a camera right now knowing that I'm in absolute pain right now? Why would that happen? Because I had a good mom. That's why. Because I had a good dad. I remember, my problems with my father now has nothing to do with his parenting of me. I have some problems with him right now. But as a father, for me, I had great parents. My father used to come home from work and go immediately outside to go chop wood. So, a lot of people go to work hurting, okay? So I understand people care about me and stuff, but don't worry about me. I'll be fine. This storm does something to my joints. Whenever the barometric pressure lowers, it puts pressure on my joints, and also I have pins in my arm here that I can feel the pressure in my pins. It's not fun. It's okay though. It's not like I'm out of. I have gabapentin, so the neuropathy's fine. It's just I'm in actual pain today, so it's fine. I don't have any tramadol, but it's fine. Yeah, my mom, she taught me good. I did a Facebook Live earlier, and I talked about how my mom taught me so much that, having bipolar disorder is hard, clearly. But what makes it hard is controlling your emotions. That's why I wanted to talk about this today, because you could say that I'm an expert on emotions. Most people with bipolar are. It's controlling those emotions that we have a problem with. Something that I have learned over 18 years how to do through my ingredients and my steps. And the most important ingredient you want to think about in this particular subject, okay? God, my goddamn allergies, man. Sorry. Man, Makes me sad. But is the venting. Venting is the most important thing that needs to be applied to this, okay? Because you're definitely in this situation, you're not going to listen to advice until you do vent your stuff out. And it takes a long time to do that because, especially if you go through a tragedy, you have your mourning process. And until you're done, until you're to the acceptance part of it, you're not going to, God, don't ask me to quote it's the steps of grieving. It's the last step. It's the acceptance part. It's the step that person's not going to come back. Let's say if the person dies. Excuse me. Speaking of my mom, you're not going to listen to anybody. And until you accept that, that's just the way it is. We're human beings. We are emotional creatures. Now it's funny I say that because if you're a Christian, you would understand this. God says, be angry and sin not. What that means is you have the right to feel whatever you feel. You do not have the right to act upon it. There's a difference. Okay? Now, so let me go through some scenarios here that I've been through, that I know I acted badly on, that I know that I was wrong. 22 years since my mom died. Let's use that. The minute that I realized that when I found out my mother died, I was gone. There was no way I was staying in Minnesota, blah, blah, blah. Now, while it didn't technically matter because being homeless is being homeless, it mattered because I reacted upon emotion. I didn't think it through. I allowed Desiree to come with me, for one thing. I would have never allowed that. She was 18 years old. She wanted to follow me. She would run over. How you doing, Anna? She had a falling out with her parents, and she was adrift. Anyway, I that was a mistake. That's just one example, it's a tiny example, but you see it all the time. A person lives in a house for so many years. Their significant other dies, and they want to sell the house instantly because they can't deal with it. You say, well, be understanding, Daryl. They can't deal with it. Yes, they can. They can deal with it. It takes time. Immediately selling your property without thinking it through is not wise. It's their decision. They can still do it. I mean, heck, someone gets in your face, I suppose, and if you're not one of those people that likes that kind of thing, you could probably hit somebody. Well, you're going to go to jail for assault. The definition of self-defense, especially in Texas, probably has the best example of some of the greatest laws of self-defense. You can kill somebody here and get away with it as far as they're not going to take you to jail because of self-defense. But what does that mean exactly? What that means is, did you do your best to stop that person? If you stopped that person, okay, and you kept doing whatever it was you're doing after you stopped them, that's not self-defense. That's rage. So if someone attacks you and you hit them in the face to stop them, that's not a problem. You're not going to be going to jail. But if someone hits you in the face and you hit them back and you keep hitting them and hitting them and you cause severe damage to them, you're going to go to jail for assault. They can charge you with assault for that because you stopped them and then you just kept going. That's rage. That's anger. That's you not being able to control your emotions. Consequences. I am diagnosed with bipolar 1 disorder, which means that I have the full range of emotions. So I can tell you from an expert opinion that it is hard to do. And the only way that I can do it is through the ingredients. That when I get angry with a person, I sometimes do react. I react badly, in fact. especially a long time ago. My God, I was bullied for a long, long time. So then everyone who got a twisted attitude towards me, I would get defensive and felt like they were bullying me. And it's not true always. Sometimes I was in the wrong. So it matters. You don't make decisions on emotion. Think about a fight. What do they tell you all the time? Don't attack in anger, because you're going to get your butt kicked, because you're not using your noggin. You lost your job. Don't panic. It's not time to go prostitute. It's a joke. That I know that was over the top. But really, you got to sell your house. It's not time to go and panhandle, and it's not time to pretend you're homeless, because all you do is take the money from the house if it's being taken from you. Yeah, you're probably going to have to move into an apartment. There are consequences that you're not going to like, but it's better than being illogical. Being illogical is going to cause you so much problems. And by the way, here's something everybody knows about the anger stuff. If I was going to be willing to bet, most people understand. You don't act in anger. But here's one I bet you a lot of people don't get. When you're happy and you're forked because you're happy because you did something good, you better not be making those harsh decisions on that either. Why? Because you can overcompensate. Or undercompensate. So that the next person you face in battle, as it were, you get your butt kicked because you underestimated, because you won the last fight. Or, in this case, we're talking about life, that you're going to underestimate the next situation and you're going to get in trouble. Level thoughts, balanced life. Say it again. Level thoughts and balanced life. Level thoughts and balanced life. Very simple, but it's not simple to pull off. Not even for normal folk, but especially for people like me. I get so angry sometimes, I'm truly fearful for my country right now. And since I know Denise doesn't live in this country, I'm saying my country. But in reference to Texas, I am fearful. But we can't rush this. There's no, I keep trying to talk down some of my friends. Like, no, not time yet. It's not time yet. Do not rush this. Let them make their move. And then you can claim self-defense. Until that time, it's assault. And that goes with war too. Some of my friends are saying that if Trump doesn't win, civil war will happen. Probably. To be honest with you. And I'm afraid of that. I am so scared that there's going to be so many people that are suffering, not just physically, but just they're on one side and family members on the other side. You know, over 1 million people died in the Civil War. Cousins shooting at cousins, fathers shooting at sons. A lot of people make Robert E. Lee out to be this evil man, but he chose his family over his country. He wasn't going to shoot at his sons and his family. Was it right? It wasn't patriotic. But in his view, he was siding with his family. He had thought it through. They asked him to be the general, and he found what they did disgusting, invading the South. They were going to ask, so they asked Robert E. Lee to be their general. He was that good. I'm just talking about things that I know, events that have happened because of anger, because someone convinces you to attack someone because they're angry. Maybe they're using you because they're angry. You ever consider that? That's what's going on right now, especially if you want to look at politics, because this is the presidential year, and I will be talking about a lot more about politics only this year, because it's freaking vital now. There are going to be people that you start talking about Christianity this year, they're going to hate your guts. They don't want to hear about it. Now, most of the Christians are on our side, but there are some that are not. And either better times are coming or really bad times are coming. I don't know yet. We won't know that yet. And I want you guys to be on your best wit, your greatest wit, your greatest brain power. I want you to be able to think through things, because you're gonna need that wit, and I mean soon. That if your brain isn't ready, if you're not mentally ready for what's about to happen, you're going to be in shock. There's just some dark stuff going on. Dark stuff. And there's a 50% of Americans that freaking have fallen for it. It's unbelievable. And all out of emotion. We're no longer, thank you very much to the Democratic Party, because a video like this, a live video like this, where I'm discussing don't act on emotion, they don't want to hear it. They wouldn't even watch something like this, because their entire political campaign is trying to get your emotions. I've always said, and my mother taught me this a long time ago, and I've heard this from other preachers, that false religions, false beliefs, not just religions, but false beliefs, they need to pull you in with emotion because they don't have facts. Well, this election coming up isn't about anything, but it should be about facts. But they're gonna try to do their best to make this about race and all this different things that have nothing to do with the rest of this country. And individually speaking, we have to be on our best behavior, individually speaking. You can't worry about what your neighbor believes. You have to worry about what you believe. And you cannot react rashly because of it. You don't get to go over, knock on your door and say, well, you voted for this person, I'm going to smash you in the face. No. There'll be a time for that. But not like this. And I fear that there's many people, especially young people, that are not emotionally ready for what they're about to go through. And it makes me sad because it has nothing to do with brain power. That people get caught up in their emotions, and they decide on what they feel and what makes them more comfortable, and not what is right. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to be happy. But it's not okay to act on those emotions. Depression. Some of the worst acts in history have been done by people who are desperate. They're not bad, evil people, but you're going to find out during the darkest periods of time what character that person has, what the definition of a monster is. Anybody who has their own place and they're happy and they have money and they have a job, yeah, be happy. But understand that when and if you lose all of your things, you're going to find out what that person is made of when they have to dig and scrape for money. That's why there's no such thing as work that should be too good for you. There shouldn't be the thought process, and there's many Americans that believe like that. There's many Americans that believe that they are owed a living by a business just because they are, without having earned a single bit of it. If and when I do make money doing this, it will be because I earned every single dime. I didn't want to be on SSI in the first place. I loathe the fact that I'm on it now because it's not my money. It's your money. But they had left me no choice in 2005. But trust me, I want to get off this as soon as I can. And I'm doing a good job of saving money and so forth and so on. I have 2 different Roth IRAs now. And over time, I will build up both of them. I'm no longer afraid of being homeless because I have planned it out. It's okay to feel desperation. It's not okay to not use your head. It's okay to feel anger. It's not okay not to use your head. It's okay to feel elation and happiness, but it is not okay to not use your head. You don't it's like these people that they might, I'm not trying to be mean, okay, I'm not. But it's like these people that want to go and get married after they have a good night of sexual relationship with somebody because they love them, man, or they love that woman. No, man, you ain't love them. You love what they just did to you, and you're using your hormonal improper imbalance to freaking get married without even understanding what marriage really is. People, you see that all the time. Then there's divorce 6 months later. We're going to get this annulled. Well, guess what? God don't annul marriages. Sorry to tell you that. The government annuls marriages. So you just made a mistake, and in God's eyes, you're still married to that man. It's ridiculous. Because you made the vow. I told a story on Facebook Live today about how my mom, I called my dad. I couldn't call my dad for over 6 months after my mom's death. Because it was just hard to know that she wasn't going to answer the phone. But finally, Desiree pushed me to call her, and I asked my father, how did she go? And he says, she was beautiful. That's till death do you part. Can you watch your wife die? Can you watch your husband die? Can you sit in a hospital room for days and days and days and days on end? That's why you don't act on those things. There are consequences of these things. Gabriel is a consequence to these things. Thought I loved her. I love you. No, I didn't. I couldn't love her because I couldn't love myself. That's just a fact. And these are all normal, everyday things people get themselves in trouble for, all because they did not think it through. I love what I do. And I love this stuff that I do. I love the fact that I get on here and I talk to you guys. And I just give you little bits of information. It's not a scolding. It's just truth. Not my truth. Truth. Truth is one of those things where you can hammer and hammer and hammer, and the only thing that gets beaten is the argument itself. I present facts to you, and it's up to you to present facts to counter my arguments if you would like to debate me. Outside of that, that's all I do is produce information for you guys so that you may have a little bit more substance to why I do the ingredients and the steps, why that they are hand in hand, why the ingredients are an everyday thing on everything you do. The steps are a long process, and you need the ingredients and the steps, or in the ingredients for that. But venting your frustrations or your thoughts out is vital to clear thought. You cannot have level thoughts without clear thought. You can't. You have to be reasonable with everything you do. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in trouble. And sometimes there is calculated risk. There's calculated risk in business. Sometimes you know the risk, and it's too much of an opportunity for you to pass up. But remember, you can't get mad then if that risk comes true. No one's telling you to stop taking risks because you don't have any information. Sometimes there's no choice. Sometimes you're just trying to survive. So think on that. I'm going to let you guys go because I got to get ready because I think she's going to come pick me up. I just wanted to have a little discussion with you guys about this because I have an emotional disorder and it's very hard for me to control my emotions. But I do. For the most part, I do. But I also warn people, and that's another thing you got to know yourself. I also warn people, if they start to push me and I'm like, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't know what you're waking up. Don't keep pushing me. Don't keep pushing me. Don't do it. You have to have one of those barriers to yourself. Like, dude, you cross the line and you're about to get in a fight with me. And when a fight with me is not good. It's not good. And so I try to avoid fights like that. Let people know, no. If you don't agree with me, fine. Just say you don't agree with me. We can have a discussion about it later. But once it gets emotional, I have to stop the argument. I have to stop the person from getting emotional because it's getting out of hand. There's no purpose to the argument anymore. So when a person starts to get emotional with me and they're talking to me and I realize that they're no longer listening, either it's going to be no conversation at that point and I'm just going to let the person vent, or we will talk about it later. That I'm not going to change my viewpoint just because you get emotional with me. And I would hope to God that you would do the same for me. You bring facts to an argument, you bring facts to a situation, and you can get through anything. Right? So, that being said, be safe when you're traveling. Be safe when you get there. You never know what happens. Be understanding of one another, not just from your perspective, but from theirs. You can't expect people to always get up. You have to sometimes come to them. You know, you have to help them up. Help them up, a hand up, not a hand out. Right? Be understanding of yourself that you have limits. That sometimes your limits are too far gone past anything that you can do at the moment, that you can't do anything about it. Like if you don't have no money, you can't be giving money away. No matter how desperate they are, you have to be disciplined with yourself. Self-discipline is important in all this because when you act on emotion, you're not being self-disciplined. It's fine to vent. That's the point. Venting is part of the emotion. But then you stop venting and then you're supposed to be listening to advice. You don't just vent for no reason. Okay? I don't allow someone to just yell or scream at me and think that they've done their job. No. Once you're done doing that dumb crap, right? Because it is dumb. When you get angry over stuff, it becomes dumb when you start to just continue to do it and there's no progress. Okay? There's nothing wrong with venting your anger out. That's kind of the point. Be understanding that you have limits. It's just fact. You have limits. That you're going to have a button that someone pushes that you're like, no. We'll come back to this later. I need to calm down. Right? Remember, life is fleeting. 22 years since my mom died. Trust me, I learned that lesson the hardest way you can imagine. Life is fleeting. You're not promised your next breath. You're not. Just do things outside your box so you can learn more about yourself. That's all. do things outside your box so you can learn more about yourself. You never know what you may find out. And until tomorrow, may the Lord light guide you in all things.